HGR returns tonight for a Wednesday night edition live from Talladega Superspeedway. Garrett Jenkins here in the booth with the HGR Racing Network, bringing you coverage for tonight. And right now, Kevin Tempton, fast in qualifying, or fast in practice. John Darnell second, Luke Freeman third. Quentin Stanbach and James Waring, the top five. Get rid of them. Don't need rid of them. As already wrecking Freeman, Darnell, Tempton in the top three, just wrecked it. Get Luke Freeman in here. Luke Freeman, Garrett Jenkins in broadcast booth. Got a copy, buddy?
I got you, man. What's going on?
Well, buddy, I want to ask, is it a backup car for tonight?
I'm sure hoping there is. I'll be honest with you, man.
Yeah, you're looking a little beat up tonight. I do want to ask you though, that does bring a question to me, being I ran an official race earlier in these cars, and they do not like getting hit in the right rear. Had to find that out the hard way. The recipient
no, they
of
do
one.
not.
But I want to ask though, is there really any particular way that you can push in the corners or down the straightaway without getting a guy almost turned sideways? Because it seems like, just from the little experience I had at Daytona, they don't really react to getting pushed quite as well as what some of these other cars we run do.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't. I mean, definitely in the corners and stuff, you got to be pretty easy on them. In the straightaways, it's a little more forgiving with the pushes, but corners, I'll be honest, I kind of try to stay off of it unless it's the last handful of laps. Even if it is any contact in the corners, I try to keep it as light as I can. They do tend to get pretty squirrely, if I do say so myself.
Well, I want to ask tonight, what is the strategy do you feel like coming into the night? 42 laps, the standard HGR event. What can we expect tonight with a field right now at 20?
I mean, we're hoping for some action, but I'm just out here with my teammate Kevin as always tonight, and we're just hoping to get as best we can and just trying to make our way around the field. But I guess it's all going to kind of come down to where we sit on the qualify and just trying to work our way up from there.
All right, buddy. Best of luck to you. We'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy the show.
You too, bud. Well, that being said, so Luke Freeman right now, fourth in practice. And of course, practice times really don't matter. You just pretty much see drivers practicing their qualifying laps, practicing a little bit in the draft, but nothing too major. Tonight, MMS, Little Dog, Big Dog on deck. Live from Atlanta in the Gen 4s. That will be covered right here tonight. Ought to be a good one. As Merrick bounces the car off the wall, will improve his lap to fourth quickest. Richard Elliott just laid down his lap. Well, that being said, still several drivers. Several drivers yet to post a lap. Tugger McLennan will be the 8th driver to post a lap. The ones that have not posted: Kevin McCullough, Matthew Lee, Steve Sizemore, Cody Neagles, William H. Scott, Joseph Allen, Jackson Byes, Sean Corbett, Mark Von Dale, Casey Sprinkle, Joey Masavage, and John Ward, all in the field tonight. Correction, Corbett just posted his lap, so 9 drivers. Several other ones just posted their laps. Of course, Jackson Buys moves into ninth. Casey Sprinkle, who is the pre-spin winner for tonight, presented by JW Paint Graphics. Sprinkle will be going for the extra money on the line tonight if he can win. Right now, see his teammates of Freeman and Tempton now working together. Corbett riding their draft. Corbett ought to gain a significant amount of time. And he does, fourth quickest. Down through the field, Quentin standby. Right here's a little pack. You're going to see a lot of this tonight. 3 wide action, more than likely. There you see it up and down in place. Buys will move into 5th. Casey 6th. McClendon 7th. Quentin Standbach will actually stay in 8th off of this whole deal. Oh, Sprinkle gets turned. Hang on to her, buddy. Well, that car is almost a backup. Well, this is what. Go ahead and practice these moves now. Practice cutting the guy's nose off now. Practice a bad push. There they go. One too many. McClendon. Jackson Buys to the inside wall. Casey Sprinkle hard off the wall. Well, this is what you expect. But it's best to go ahead and do this now. Get all the mistakes out the way in practice so you get to the race. And you really don't make a lot of mistakes. And Matthew Lee in here. Matthew Lee, Gary Jenkins up here in broadcast booth. Got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
Not a whole lot. Last night's winner over John Ward. Not by much, might I add, but nonetheless, you still get the job done, but completely different car. Even though they're the same body, pretty much the same car, different motor, different setup in it. What are the key differences tonight versus the Gen 6's counterpart?
Just the way you push with it, the way the draft has an effect. You know, you're not going to be able to get a big side draft with this car compared to the Gen 6. Not going to be speeds as fast either down the backstretch. Just little differences like that. Still, how you connect with the car in front of you is still definitely matters for this car as much as it does for the Gen 6. So, I think you'll see the good pushers prevail here.
But say, do you feel like if we have any cautions tonight, do you feel like that it will be contributed mainly from a bad push versus a late block?
This car is known for the bad push when a guy swipes off to the right side. When he gets like off to the right side while he's connected with the guy pushing, and then kind of like slides back across to the left side of his bumper, for whatever reason, that move there is usually no. I like to push in the left rear corner for that reason. You just got to be really precise with where you hit him. Hopefully we don't see any of those cautions early on here. It'd be nice to see it go green and get some laps in.
All right, buddy. Best of luck to you now. I'll let you get ready for qualifying.
Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Matthew Lee going for 2 in a row tonight. Appreciate your time, dude.
You bet.
So that being said, Jeff Merck, right now the first driver who will post a lap, followed by Corbett and Luke Freeman. Right now, Merck with a 27-0 in the first half of the racetrack. A great start. The fastest out of the 3 drivers to enter that sector. Gonna need a big turn 4. He's got it at the line. Jeff Merck to set the lap to beat. Survey says 27.0 all the way through a 54.075 for Merck. Corbett slides into second. Freeman will be third. Kenny McCullough. McCullough's going to need a big gain through here right now. Off the pace. For McCullough isn't enough. It has not been good enough for P2. So Steve Sizemore followed by Kevin Tipton will be next. So for Steve Sizemore at the line, 54.129, good enough for 4. Tipton will slide in with a 111. Fourth quickest, knocked Sizemore down to the 5th spot. And John Ward, P3. Right now, the 3-spin bonus winner, Casey Sprinkle, who has made his return to HGR after a lengthy suspension. Nonetheless, he is back and glad to see the driver of the 59 back in action. James Waring, however, coming to complete his first lap. Survey says at the line, 54.200, 7th quickest. Not to be outdone. Cody Niegels at the line, not on track to be the fastest. Pretty good gain, enough for second with a 0.84 for Niegels. Back to Casey. At the line for the pole, Casey Sprinkle. Survey says not enough. Good enough for P3 at the moment. Well, of course, whoops. John Darnell, with 25 seconds remaining, he will get his lap in. Richard Elliott will not. So at the line for John Darnell III isn't enough for a front row spot. It is not a 54.145. With that being said, qualifying is over. 11 drivers posted a lap. 21 strong tonight. Included a lot of familiar names that will be running in MMS later tonight. With that being said, the pole winner, Jeff Merck, let's get him in the booth. Well, one of HGR and MMS's most popular drivers, Jeff Merck. Garrett Jings up here in broadcast, but you got a copy, buddy?
I do, Garrett. What's up?
Well, starting on the pole tonight, Bad Fast Dark Side MMS machine. Does it got what it takes to get the job done tonight?
We'll find out here in about 42 laps.
Well, buddy, we've asked several drivers tonight coming in their expectations for tonight. And they're saying a lot of, mainly the determining thing is who can push and who can receive the pushes. I want to ask you, for your standpoint, is it the same thing for you tonight that you're worried about? Drivers who can take and receive a push, or what is one thing that what's really one thing you're looking out for that you wouldn't normally be looking for when it comes to these plate races with these cars?
Drivers who can take and push. That's all restrictor plate races. If you don't, you got to be able to take a push and be able to push. That's the two biggest things. That's what causes the most wrecks. Fuel mileage, getting on and off pit road if we have green flag stops. A lot goes into super speedway racing. It's just a lot of luck.
Alright, buddy. Well, with that being said, I'm going to let you get ready for the start here. I got one last question, not related to the broadcast. Do you want back where you're at, or do you want to be put in MMS?
Yeah, put back in the general that where everybody else is at, where Cody and all them is.
Alright, buddy. Best of luck to you tonight.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yep. So Jeff Merck starting on pole. With that being said, we'll run through the starting grid for tonight's race. Whoops, wrong one. Okay. Hate my life. There we go. Now I'll try to reset it here. Ignore all that, but we'll just go through the starting grid based off the ticker. Late job at work. That being said, Jeff Merck on pole, Casey Sprinkle starting second. Or no, Cody Neagle started second, Sprinkle third, McCullough fourth. Ward, Corbett, Sizemore, Tempton, Waring, and Darnell to top 10. Nathan Harper making his debut in HGR next to Jackson Byes, Luke Freeman, Joey Masavage, Richard Elliott, Matthew Lee, Tucker McClennan, Joseph Allen, Quentin Stanbach, William H. Scott. And I believe there is just one more off the screen. Casey Sprinkle. Well, no. Yeah, 20 on deck. Sprinkle dropping back. That is the field for tonight. 20 cars. Man. Alright. So things to look for tonight. Honestly, the bunk drafts, you know they're going to be crazy. They're going to be big. It's going to be one thing to look out for. That will probably honestly be the dark horse in all of this. And who can take and receive the pushes? 42 laps. Sprinkle took an EOL, as a matter of fact. That is why he is not starting where he's at. Moves everybody up a row. Alright. Merck and Eagles brings them down to 9 rows restart zone. We're going. Merck already out front early. Eagles pushing him with McCullough, Corbett, and Sizemore to top 5 on the outside lane. Now make it, we'll take 2 away from that as Eagles and Merck drops down to the bottom with Ward, Tempton, and John Darnell, among others. Well, right now, Merck, McCullough at the line. Give it to Merck barely. But right now you're really seeing, really going to see who can push, who can't, who can receive, who can't. It's going to be interesting to see down the back straightaway. Lap 2, McCullough leads. Of course, MMS taking up the front 2 rows at the moment. At the line, Merck again will get over McCullough outside lane, not really seeming to be able to build up the run or the side draft like they're normally accustomed to. Really, it's almost Bit of a stalemate right now. Both lanes, kind of a stalemate. Neither one, not really one has the advantage over the other one. Maybe a slight edge to the bottom lane, but just not enough to really clear. Well, it's enough for Mert right now to lead for the third time in a row. Just big enough run enough to keep McCullough and them in the fight on the outside lane. Down back straightaway, McCullough this time a better run with a better push for Corbett, but still not enough to get clear of Jeff Merck, or is it? It is. Took him 3 laps. Took him 3 laps, but McCullough leads. Here comes Corbett to the outside. But now we're going to see, it took McCullough a while just to really get in the position to be able to drop down to the bottom. I believe part of that was Jeff Merck letting him down. Right now you see Waring's going to duck it 3 wide. Not sure how much that's going to work, but Ward and Darnell's going to go with him in that third lane. Probably going to bail out of it as quickly as they consider it. Going into turn 3, or not. Well, Tucker McClellan is not up to the back of the side for as they run right now. So, I mean, that kind of helps that outside lane momentarily. It's only until they really get connected that you might see Ward and Waring and Darnell. As Waring from the top almost comes across the nose of McCullough. Back the line, give it to Waring. Right now, Richard Elliott with the fastest lap of a 53.08. Right now, Elliott running into 12th position. Just going to show you can be anywhere and get a fast lap as long as you're in the draft. How effective it really is. When this kind of racing, everybody's a sleeper. There's no, you can lead all 41 laps, but there ain't no guarantee you're going to lead to 42nd and win. That's why there's really no odds on favorite. You can kind of pick out who you think will be there at the front. That's about all you can do. That's why it's fun letting people try to predict, see if they get it right. Right now, Ward going for the lead. Bad fast Ward to the front. Darnell's going to slip right to the middle lane, and Joey Savage is going to be left out to dry. Of course, if you're wondering where your pre-race bonus winner is at right now, Casey Sprinkle. You're right on board with him inside the car right now. Sprinkle in 18th. Of course, it took the EOL, or took something to drop to the back. Not sure what the issue was, but right now, not seeing Sprinkle really pushing a whole lot, trying to get to the front, just kind of choosing to ride right behind Matthew Lee, who is going for 2 in a row tonight. There's still plenty of time for Casey to get to the front, have a chance at becoming the 4th driver to win the pre-spin bonus, as see Darnell gets out of shape just a little bit from the push from Waring. Able to hold on to it. Ward's going to go up to cover his teammates down the back straightaway. Of course, McCullough jumping right back to the inside. No surprise seeing these two battle for the lead. Now you see we're back to the bottom again, and pretty much give and take. That's all what you're seeing right now, just give and take. Right now your pole sitter Jeff Merck side by side for 3rd down the back straightaway on the bottom lane. Well, of course, ever since switching up the paint jobs, Merck's been on a bit of a tear as of late. constantly cashing out, in contention to win, has won about 2 or 3 times since switching the paint job on that number 60. So Jeff Merck, I found a new lease on life changing that paint job. Right now it's working for him. But meanwhile, Ward continues to lead McCullough. Ward will lead his 4th lap of the race tonight, 33 to go. Of course, Jeff Merck led the opening 3 laps. McCullough's led 1. Ward's led the rest up to this point. Oh, and I'm sorry, James Warren's also led a lap. Back there in the back. Well, McLennan and Stanbach tried that 3rd lane. Nobody went with him, and you see the result. Just right back, Ryan right behind Richard Elliott for the moment. Well, right now, I think what drivers are really just trying to do is try and make it to the green flag pit stops. Not trying to really do much of anything as of right now. A lot of them just trying to save the fuel or worry about getting racy when that time comes. Of course, 80% fuel for this race, so almost virtually guaranteed, the way I think about it, a one-stop race to create kind of that, really trying to blend together drivers with skill, but with a little bit of strategy involved too. Try to give strategy, but you know, with some of the best racing. More racing than pit strategy, really, the way I'm trying to describe it. Down the back straightaway. Alright, now you've seen it. Single filing out for the most part. Darnell, Waring. Now Ward will jump up. I think what Ward's doing, Ward said, alright, I've let enough. Now it's time to try to save some fuel. And, you know, typical John Ward action. I mean, you can hear this. If you look back at any of my streams where I'm racing with these guys, you hear Ward constantly thinking about strategy, constantly thinking, what do I need to save? How much do I need to save? When can I be racing? When can I not? When are we going to pit? You know, it's stuff like that that's made Ward, well, really successful at this sim racing league. Money racing in general. Ward will slide in line as we'll focus back up to McCullough and Merck, who now lead 1-2 again. Cody Neagle, Sean Corbett, John Darnell right behind him. I should give it to Sizemore because Darnell hung out to dry. Darnell right. $29 to go. Well, 29 to go. We've only ran 14 laps, so probably 27, 28 maybe. That's really just a guess into when. Really just a guess into when these drivers will really come in the pit. See Neagles and them really laying off. Let Merck and McCullough get a massive gap out towards them, and right now feel like they're going to be a sitting duck. Neagles up to the top side of the racetrack. Well, with Tucker McClendon as well. Unsure what's going on. McClendon's going to put them 3 wide. And Neagles going to fall right back in line behind John Darnell. Right now, I think. Well, that's what I'm talking about, giving and taking right now. Ride. Save a little bit. Pretty much all you can do at this point is right now. And it's still a McCullough Merc 1-2 for MMS. Corbett, Sizemore, Waring, Stanbot, Darnell, McLennan, and several others all behind them. Back in the back of the field. Right now an MMS regular and Nathan Harper. Right now running in 15th, holds the fastest lap of a 53.07. Posted on lap 9. And right now Harper, like just about everybody else, just riding. Well, I mean, right now caution free for the moment. See a massive check up to the back of the 33 of Jackson Buys. Really working the gas, trying to do everything he can. Let's actually look at some dashboard to see really how much he's working his gas. Right now full throttle for a majority down through the front straightaway. But here comes the run. Barely is just cracking the throttle, only barely. There comes Casey Sprinkle to the outside. McCullough Motorsports driver. And he'll fall right back in line, get him a couple spots. And slowly but surely, Sprinkle working his way to the front. Will not be surprised when we see him up there. Meanwhile, change for the lead. Quentin Stanbuck and Tucker McLennan up 18 and 15 spots respectively. Right now, 25 to go. And for McCullough, maybe a breather as Jeff Merck no longer attached to him. Matter of fact, Merck's dropped all the way down to 11th. And that number 60 down the back straightaway. They freight train their way along the back. Of course, this is the part where it is kind of hard to find stuff to talk about. Let's just see me go through just look at several drivers. Well, right now, McCullough says, I don't feel like riding right now. McCullough trying to get the lead back. Nobody goes with him. Not an MMS teammate in sight. But McCullough will get it. That was a power move. That was a power move by the 03 if I've ever seen one. Able to side draft and make it look easy, make it look effortless. Well, of course, got to wonder how much fuel is he burning. Well, I think it matters how much fuel he's burning. You know there's a plan always in MMS right now. There's always strategy plan. Hey Jess, how you doing tonight? Oh, they're sideways mid-pack. But they're able to keep it straight whatever happened. We'll keep it green for the moment. Meanwhile, for the lead, Mass Woodson Ward out front. And well, you heard Trevor saying don't expect the runs that you get out of these cars. I'm starting to believe that's a bit of a lie right now, because two big runs, one from McCullough, one from Warren the Savage, and now McCullough going to look back to the outside again with 22 to go. Where the hell? Where did Casey Sprinkle come from up in all this? 3 laps ago, he was back in 16th. Darnell's going to stay to the bottom with Buys, Standbach, McLennan right now. MMS on the outside with McCullough and Sprinkle. And they're able to get back to the lead. 22 laps to go. Going to be 21 when they get to the start-finish line. And right now, it's all about putting yourself in position. That's all this is. Put yourself in position to win. Put yourself in position for the green flag pit stop that's coming up. Right now, we look at the Raging Idiot Racing Network pick strategy link. Every driver on the same link, 21 laps, 21 to go. So we're at halfway. 42 laps. Well, somewhere around halfway. Well, yeah, 42 laps. We are halfway. So right now, 21 laps to go. I'm still predicting they can go somewhere anywhere from 25 to maybe 30-ish. Of course, never had to ram to short pit it. Gonna be interesting to see. Right now, your biggest movers of the race since the start. Quentin Standbach up 12. Joey Savage up 3rd. Up 10 spots where he started. Tucker McLennan up 9. Jackson Buys 8. They are your biggest movers since the green flag. See Sprinkle going to duck out of line again. So if anybody goes winning, they will not. He's going to drop like a rock. And of course, might just be by design of that. Maybe the car getting a little too hot, starting to overheat. Right now, he's trying to find a line. He'll get one right in front of Stenbach and behind Buys. Right now, 19 to go, and right now you just wait. Well, we'll say it once, we'll say it again. We'll say it once, we're going to say it again. The drivers who can execute on and off pit road without losing the draft, they will be the ones in position to win this race. So you can have a flawless pit stop. You can have an incredible pit stop. But if you lose the draft or lose touch with the cars when you rejoin the track, I mean, really, the pit stop was for nothing. That's how I view it. And of course, the last 2 or 3 times I've had to make a green flag pit stop in this series, I've ended up getting left no matter how perfect of a pit stop it was. So that's going to be something to really watch out for as well. Also, speeding on entry, speeding off exit, whatever black flag may come to these drivers. That's if we get one. Well, we're going to get one. All right, now 17 to go. Ken McCullough's led 13 laps, the most out of any driver tonight. Next closest one would be John Ward with 6 laps led. Where's my Savage? Ward, Darnell, Buys the top 5. Sprinkle, Standbach, McLennan, Corbett, Sizemore. The top 10. All back through the field. Find a previous pre-spin bonus winner and a previous winner in HGR in his own right. Right now, James Waring running in 11th. Of course, the pre-spin bonus brought to you by James Waring with JW Paint Graphics. And for the best paint jobs on iRacing, contact James Waring at JW Paint Graphics. Well, dude can paint just about any car and make it look flawless. Meanwhile, getting a little bit racy for the lead now. Sprinkles ducks out of the line again. But here comes Tempton, Freeman, Harper, Negan, Matthew Lee, Jeff Merck. Oh, it's starting to get good now. Now there comes McCullough's in. He will have a partner behind him. That'll be Sean Corbett. Corbett on the brakes, going to get it woed up. So them are your first two to come in. Of course, you see their pit times at the bottom. Of course, when a great big group of guys come in, that overlay at the bottom might get just a little hectic to begin with. But Matthew Lee, last night's winner, to the lead with Jeff Burke, the pole sitter. What's up, Danny Barnes? How you doing tonight? Well, nobody opting to come in yet. 15 to go. Right now, here comes Stanbach and McLennan. Them two have been hooked up since the start of this race. Been desperately trying to make that outside work. And here comes Quentin Stanbach to the lead. Veggie's waiting for McLennan to get clear. He is. Neagles, the odd man, left out. Down the back straightaway. Quentin Stanbach win. Be the first time in HGR. The pride of Cheyenne, Wyoming, to the lead. Not really any more takers at the moment. Right on board with Stanbach. Looking at the back of McLennan. Well, you can tell that. You can tell Tucker's a Tennessee fan. Well, I'm sure it goes along great with the couple guys that run the Ohio State cars personally. Hey. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a Duke car out there, but I'll probably be the most hated broadcaster now for saying that. All right, now, Stanbach leads. What are you doing in a hotel in Kansas City, Danny? 12 to go at the line. Well, really, you got to imagine either it was a strategy call or where McCullough had been out front so much. I'm still doubting that they can make it. But they can go a lot further than what I ever thought they could. Right now, a 30-lap run. Down back straight away. Work, huh? Damn. Well, that sucks. I was hoping to call you tonight in HGR and Little Dog, Big Dog coming up after this race. $11 to go. Stanbach continuing to lead. Followed by McLennan, Neagles, Matthew Lee, and Jeff Merck, the top five. Sizemore. Sizemore buys Tempton, Freeman, and Harper, your top 10. And now you see it going for a lead. Cody Neagles with Matthew Lee to the front. Here comes Merck as well. Sizemore not able to get clear now. Steve Sizemore probably, well, I was going to say possibly the odd man out, but Sizemore slipped right into fourth. 10 laps to go when they get to the line. Well, maybe I'm wrong about this whole green flag pit stop thing. 80% fuel. Well, right now, McCullough's the only... Hold on. Well, right now, McCullough and Corbett, the only ones who have pitted, they went 27 laps. Everybody else, 32 so far. 10 to go. Yeah, they're going to pit right at the last possible moment. 80%. Well, right now they snaked their way down the back straightaway. 9 laps to go. Really, I'm surprised nobody's trying to step out of line either. They're saving. Yeah, they're saving extremely hard. Trying to make it Danny Barnes anytime now. Alright. Well, we're going to see it. Not this time. Eight to go. All right, now John Darnell riding in 14th down the back straightaway. William H. Scott trying to break into the top 10. No, it's a very snazzy looking number 21 Monster Energy car. One of my favorites. Well, focus back in on the leaders. Run the drone cam. Through the trial, we're going to be 7 to go. Right now, still not a lot of action at the moment. Scott's still trying to hang on to outside lane, but slipping back more and more. Big gap between Freeman and Harper. Matthew Lee looking to the outside. He really did not decide if he wanted to go that time. 6 to go. Right now, top 5 as they run. Neagles, Lee, Merck, Sizemore, and William H. Scott, who was clawing his way up to the top 5 just by being the lone car on the outside. Here comes Scott. And actually, it's kind of impressive seeing the 21 able to do what he's doing with the only car out there with him. Going to be 5 to go when it get to the line. All right, now about as quickly as Scott gets up there, the momentum suddenly shifts. He's no longer able to stay in touch with the leaders here. Down the back straightaway, Neagle still continuing to lead. I think they can make it. They ain't pitted now. I think they can make it with 5 to go. Well, nobody's really making any moves, so they're probably still trying to conserve. Well, here comes Matthew Lee. Looks to the outside. Merck stays to the bottom with Eagles. And out in the line. Well, off of 4. Matthew Lee leads. He's only led 1 lap so far tonight. We will make it 2. Here comes Scott on the outside again. Matthew Lee trying to go 2 in a row. Winner from last night in a very dramatic finish that was, well, wasn't broadcasted, but was streamed on my channel. Kind of get in-car footage, really see how the cars work. Of course, my first time in them, I didn't do too good. Glad you asked. Right now on board. Right now, Cody Eagles running in second. You see, it just is barely cracked. Just is got the speed cracked just a little bit. Not full speed down the back front straightaway. Now he is going to give a push to the back of Matthew Lee. Three laps to go. Well, I will say, oh, here we go. Now we get racy. I will say this. We did have to make a new session after a technical error with the other one. Might not have translated over. But right now, the Dega Pros are trying to form up that third lane with Savage, Ward, Darnell, and Waring. Scott's going to come up with them. 2 laps to go for Talladega. Here comes Jeff Merck with a run on the outside. At the line, still giving the lead. Bendis is picking up 2 laps to go. Jeff Merck out front for the moment. Matthew Lee still holding to his inside. Now they're going to be even. Quentin Stanbuck in the outside lane trying to make something happen. About as quick as they got 3 wide. They blend back in. A big push from the back of Stanbuck to Merck. Jeff just so close to not being able to get clear. Going to be 1 lap to go if they make it back to the line. All right now, the Savage at the top. Contact between Waring and Elliott. White flag. Right now they are 3 by 3 as they enter turn 1 for the final time. Oh, there they go. And the field flies apart down the back straightaway. Cody Eagles out front with Sizemore, Tipton, Freeman. They still got half a lap to make something happen. Well, Steve Sizemore, what do you do, buddy? You try to get off of 4, do you just ride? Tipton looking to the outside. Sizemore's going to push, but here it comes. Tipton and Freeman now. Through the tri-oval. And at the line. Kevin Tipton to victory lane in HGR. Tipton, Eagles, Freeman, Sizemore, Darnell, the top 5. As the field flew apart behind them. Well, Cody Eagles gave it everything that he had. We'll try to get a look at what caused the wreck on the last lap here in a minute. And the teammates will get a top 3 out of this, respectively. Tipton, your winner. Freeman will be 3rd. John Ward, Jackson Biden, Nathan Harper, Mark Vondell, Casey Sprinkle. The top 10 out of this. Sprinkle will not claim the pre-spin bonus because he did not win. And it will move on to the next HGR event. Let's see, can I get Kevin Tipton in here? Kevin Tipton, Garrett Jenkins up here in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, last possible moment where you're pretty much saying, well, Sizemore ain't going to make the move, I will.
Yeah, well, I got my teammate behind me, and I knew he'd go with me. So I kind of wanted to get there before Sizemore got there. Just, I thought Cody would try to block it. I think it was Cody up there leading the inside. Yeah, I thought he'd try to block it, but he let me have it, let us race to the line there, and I mean, for a fuel race, it was pretty fun.
For a fuel race, it was pretty fun. Well, but I want to ask, we didn't get a whole green flag run. Was it pretty much set to where if you save gas for the majority of the race, if not the whole race, you can make it?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised nobody ran out at all. It was a lot of trying to do math throughout the race, trying to slow it down as much as we could. But it seems like everyone, at least towards the front there, made it on fuel. So I guess we were a little too cautious on the fuel, but it was a fun run.
But I wanted to ask, how is it frustrating just sitting there riding? Like, well, I'll be damned. I know I can get up here and run with this, but I can't do nothing because I got to save all this fuel. Is it frustrating at times? Is it hard being patient knowing that you got to save? For me, it is, but I have little to no patience anyway.
Yeah, the patience is a little frustrating, but also just, I'm not the best fuel saver out there, so if it was really tight, I feel like some guys would have made it and I wouldn't have. I like the move that Kenny made, trying to come in, and then, he was pushing 20 miles an hour faster than us, so it wasn't a bad idea trying to come in there and make his way back around, but I'm just glad we all made it on fuel. Me and Luke both cashed, so it was a good day.
Well, buddy, for tonight obviously it is a great day. You get a win in high gear. It's been a while since we've had you in the winner's circle here at High Gear Racing. Is there anybody want to shout out or thank tonight? Friends, family, sponsors, etc. The floor is yours.
Yeah, huge thanks to, first and foremost, Luke, my teammate at Ninth Gear, for getting me into victory lane, pushing me there at the end. We worked together all race. Thanks to Jackson and Nathan as well. They were working with us throughout the race. We were all trying to figure out our fuel together. So shout out to them. Shout out to you for the broadcast. I think it's my first broadcasted win, so gonna have to save this one. And then shout out to James and Jimmy both for putting on the show tonight. I know James stepped in, and it was a lucky night for me.
All right, buddy. Congratulations again on your win. Kevin Tipton, your winner tonight for High Gear on a Wednesday night. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks.
Yep. That being said, we'll go back in there. We'll look at this finish. Well, really, before we pull Cody Niegels in, I do want to look back at the wreck that kind of caused all this. We'll look here and see what happens. Bam, Matthew Lee hard into the wall. And from there, it all flies apart. One more look here. One more look, slow it down. Just a big push. No, more net code. It's like a lot of net code on the 22 part. Guess Merck turned sideways. Matthew Lee's going to go hard into the outside wall. By's going to come in. Ward's. There goes Ward's hood. Massive shots. But at the line, this will be the J&W Paints Graphics move of the race. Well, I know we're going a little fast here, but you see Tempton's going to get to the outside. I'm a little surprised Cody didn't try to block it. But that one push right there from Freeman to the back of Tempton was enough. Well, Sizemore is going to try one last ditch effort, a little bit of contact from Freeman. but at the line. It will be Kevin Tipton. There's what I'm looking for. See if we can't get Cody Nichols in here. Cody Nichols, Garrett Jenkins up here in broadcast, buddy. Got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, I want to ask you if you could redo that last half of that last half lap. What would you try to do a little bit different?
I mean, I know the block was there. I could have went up and threw the block on Kevin, but the way the cash is, it doesn't really pay to throw a block for $10. I mean, I'm not really worried about the money. I honestly was more concerned of. I was running with Steve Sizemore, and he was behind me, and I just didn't want to throw a block that might cause a stack up and then get Steve wrecked, and I get out scot-free. So, we're both in the money. I would rather just get us the guaranteed cash. Yeah, I guess I could have went for it, but I just went the safe route. I was content with P2.
Well, buddy, were you a bit surprised that there wasn't a green flag pit stop for say, or were you pretty much, or does this fall into some drivers' wheelhouse where if they can barely make it on fuel, then they got a better chance at saving the fuel versus trying to get a pit stop? What was your take on it tonight?
I think once we got inside of 30 to go, we pretty much all made our bed, and I preferred to actually just pit and make pace, but it seemed like we were committed at that point of just like everyone else to just try to save. But I would have been interested to try to pit just to see the two different strategies going at it, because as it was basically, one of the races where the whole field is trying to save, so there's not really much for storyline other than, can they make it? So I would have rather kind of split that strategy right down the middle and gave you a little bit more to talk about.
I do want to ask you though for tonight. How do you walk out of a race like this where we go pretty much green the entire way, and it's frustrating to just sit there and ride? How mentally taxing is it to just know that, well, if I push now, I'm going to have to pit no matter what? And, of course, we saw the outcome tonight with no green flag pit. Just how aggravating is it just sitting there riding, knowing that this sucks? Can't make a move without risking anything?
Well, I think we're all racers, and at the end of the day, we want to get out here and race. But these kind of races are fun once in a while. I wouldn't want to make a habit of it by any means, but they're enjoyable in the sense that it does get you to thinking a little bit, because normally these races are pretty straightforward. You pit once or twice, and then you're just foot down to the floor the entire time, where you got this one, and then the entire race we were talking about strategy and, what kind of pace can we make to still be able to make it and not have to pit. And it was a constant talk the entire race of just back and forth. What do you need? Who needs to lead? How much do we need to save? So, it's enjoyable just sitting in there, because most races it's constant talk of lane changing, moving, cycling temps. This race was just more of relaxing, talking back and forth, getting to know each other, and just having fun, which is a little bit different than what I'm used to. So I had fun. It really wasn't, the most enjoyable race in the world, but I got to talk to guys I don't normally get to talk to. So I had fun. Good P2. And again, I don't think I would have really changed much, because Jimmy structures it where you get top 5, it's close to same money. So I was able to cash. I hated for Jeff Merck and Matt Lee that they weren't able to cash, but shout out to Steve Sizemore for running a great race tonight.
Well, buddy, last two questions, then I'm going to let you go. From one race to another, what's the plan for Little Dog, Big Dogs tonight?
Actually, I am not in that series, and I think I'm gonna take that one off and just watch a movie with my fiance, and I might race FEG later. But I think you go into the series, I think you have to change the mentality a little bit, because if I was racing, I know with the field that they got, I think they're running Atlanta, I want to say, in Gen 4, so there's going to be a lot of tire wear. It's going to be a much different race They are going to have to take it pretty easy on tires, I think. And from there, I think it's going to be track position is going to be key because once tire wear becomes, sets in the cars a little bit, it's going to be really hard to pass.
All right, buddy. Well, last question for you. Now I'll let you get on to that movie here. Anybody want to thank or shout out night friends, family, sponsors, etc. The floor is yours.
I appreciate you. First of all, I got to thank you for jumping on board with Jimmy and HGR and putting on the broadcast. James Waring, he was in the race. I don't think he was RCing tonight, but want to give him a shout out for helping out Jimmy behind the scenes too. Everyone that I was running with tonight, if I missed anyone, I'm sorry, but it was Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, Steve Sizemore was running with us, and I think that's it. So big shout out to them guys. A little bit different group from what I normally run with, and we had a lot of fun, and that's what this league's about, man. Just enjoying ourselves a little bit, having a beer, and relaxing.
All right, buddy. For Cody Nichols tonight, he'll have to settle for second. Look forward to seeing you can go at one more spot next time we talk to you.
Yes, sir. Later.
Yep. That being said, we'll get the last one in here. And the teammate to our winner tonight, Luke Freeman. Gary Jenkins up here, broadcast booth. Got a copy, buddy?
I got you, man. How's it going?
Going pretty good. If I was you, I'd be talking to Kevin. Hey, how about just a little bit of that money since I pushed you there?
Oh, it was a good win for me and my teammate. We were really looking forward to it there at the last lap. Right before that big wreck, man, we thought we were trapped. Didn't really know where we could go, to be honest with you.
Well, buddy, I want to ask tonight, at what point did you feel like, obviously, fuel race? Obviously, a fuel race tonight, it was stretching in. At what point did you feel like it was go time for you and your teammate?
It was tough to say. We were sitting there talking about it. It was really a last-second decision. We made it all the way to, I think it was, 4 to go? We saw him make the move a little early. We didn't think it was the right time, and that's kind of eventually what got us stuffed up there. And we thought it was about over there going to the white flag. But, the seas parted for us, and me and my best buddy Kevin up there, we realized it was go time, so we had to get a little shake and bake going and got him all the way up there to the win, and we were just happy to get shit done out here.
Well, but I do want to ask, though, I've asked the first two the same question. I'll ask you the same. Were you a bit surprised on how the field can make it?
After seeing how some of the guys were racing up there in the front to start the race, and they're in the middle, it was definitely questionable for a handful of the drivers up in front of us for a while. So we were more or less scared than anything during the last handful of laps, to say the least.
Especially when they jumped out there 3 wide with about 5 to go.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that about made me shit my pants there, man. I'll be honest.
Well, buddy, last question for you, and then I'll let you go out and celebrate. I know there's a couple beers on order right now for you and Kevin both. Anybody want to thank friends, family, sponsors, etc.? The floor is yours.
Well, of course, got to thank my buddy Kevin out there for getting the win. We worked together all race. Big thanks to all the guys out there at Ninth Gear and everyone else that helped us out in this race. And, of course, you for broadcasting and Jimmy for putting this thing on.
All right, buddy. For Luke Freeman tonight, he'll have to come home third next time we talk to him. Who knows? Kevin pushing you to the win.
First. Hopefully first next time. We'll see.
All right, buddy.
Take care, man.
You too. Apologize for the language, though, I will say. But, excitement. Excitement happens. Of course, I'm wanting to talk about language either way. Let's try this number again. Okay, so now it's fixed. Anyway, so Kevin Tenney, your winner tonight. Cody Nichols, Luke Freeman, Steve Sizemore, John Darnell, your top 5. John Ward, Jackson Byes, Nathan Harper, Mark Vondale, Casey Sprinkle, top 10, on down through the field. Joseph Allen, Richard Elliott, Kenan McCullough, Sean Corbett, Joey Savage, Tucker McClellan, James Waring, Quentin Stanbach. That will run out the top 18. However, we do got a couple more drivers. Down at the bottom, William H. Scott had a great run all night until it came undone in the closing laps. Well, really the last lap. For Jeff Merck and Matthew Lee, so close, no cigar tonight for them drivers that ran out the field. 20th and 21st. With that being said, MMS Little Dog Big Dog up next on the Raging Idiot Racing Network. For everybody that tuned in and watched HGR tonight, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see everybody in a few minutes for MMS on deck. Everybody, have a good night. See you in a few.